speakers on. Boy, could you do us a favor and turn that speaker on in the middle, please? Thank you.
You got a hold of it.
We were handing everybody off.
All you gotta do is hit the on button, hold it down, and it'll go green.
Say a few words, Coy.
I think it's on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have the clerk to please call the roll.
Mayor,
Here.
Mr. Philip Powell, Ms. Stewart. Here. Mr. Cordell.
Here.
Ms. Bridges. Here. Ms. Elmore. Mr. Biles. Mr. Jones. Mr. Hatton. Mr. Florence.
Here.
Mr. Butler.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, the packets were made available last Thursday for pickup. Has everybody had a chance to review last month's minutes? If so, I'll take a motion to approve October 14th regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion that we approve October minutes.
Second.
Motion's made, second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we've got no public comment tonight. Go straight to the 2022 Executive Board Summary Report. Good evening.
So, just give you an update on what's been going on in Lonoke 2022. So the beautification team, we've completed this year's awarding of the Yard of the Month. And in October, our winners were Billy and Chance Floringer at 95 McGee, Anson and Autumn Stewart at 308 High Ridge, Leon and Thelma Hawkins at 903 England Street, and Josh and Leah Cunningham at 203 West Hamburg. And so we thought it was a really successful program this year. We're looking forward to continuing this program next year. And we also want to thank that we had a number of volunteers that helped us in the judging of these houses each month. Also, if you haven't noticed, the First Christian Church, which is right across the corner here, the beautification team, along with Mayor Reed and the city helpers, we did a landscape cleanup around it, and so you can see the church now. Yep. And that's certainly something that we're very proud of because it is on the National Register of Historic Places. So we just kind of did a cleanup on the property. Also, I hope you've noticed that we've put out another 8 flower pots along First and Center Streets, and we put new flowers and perennials in those. And so we're just trying to dress it up for the fall and winter season here. Well, we're now in winter apparently. So the beautification team is going to meet next Monday at 5:30 at the Lonoke County Museum. So we always are looking for new ideas and helpers in that. On the downtown support team program, that's being led by Ryan Files. They're continuing to work towards applying towards the Main Street Arkansas program, and applications will be opened up in 2020. And this is going to maybe offer some opportunities for us to go towards competitive grants to enhance the city. They're also looking at some possible historic buildings in town that might be appropriate for registering as part of the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program. As a reminder, on December 8th is when we're going to have the Merry Thanks celebration, and the Chamber of Commerce is still looking to connect with some interested vendors for the event. The support team will have their next meeting on December 10th at noon, location to be determined. On the Jobs and Education team, we have a new co-chair, Miss Amanda Rather, who's the district coordinator of the Lonoke School District, and she's going to be working with Tiffany Hunter to further that program. Their next meeting will be on November 21st, at 3 p.m. at the Lonoke School District office. We had two teams that combined to meet. That's the housing team and the economic development team. And they met on the 29th, and they kind of reviewed some of the strategic plans for these two teams that were originally put together as part of this program, and kind of reviewed what the goals were and kind of where we're at. Of course, one of the goals was to increase housing opportunities in the city, relook at some of the zoning and business opportunities for development around I-40. Their next meeting will be in January 2020. And then we have the infrastructure team who got together, and they talked about some of the progress that's been realized in terms of helping to bring broadband coverage to the area. They've also been involved in some of the talks about bringing passive energy opportunities to Lonoke, and they met with the city council as part of their working meeting and looking at some energy savings opportunities for the city. We have quarterly meetings for Lonoke 2022, and that our next meeting will be in January, and so we're still working on speakers and the date and location for that meeting. And then as a reminder to everybody, we're always looking for input from the community to participate with us. And if you're not on a team, we encourage you to look at our Facebook page, Lonoke 2022, as well as our website, lonoke2022.com. And we'd love to have more input from anybody interested in these different teams. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hannah. Appreciate it. All right, first on the agenda is Mr. Roy Don Lewis, Parks and Mosquito.
Start out by saying they've got the concession stand, old concession stand tore down and hauled off, and they're gonna be back to work there tomorrow. I've got, just one thing, when they tore down the old concession stand, we had ADT out there. It was inside the shop, the concession stand and the shop. Well, we're gonna have to we removed it, now we're gonna have to move it over to our shop, so we'll have protection over there, because that's where they hit us before. I think the shop stole over $14,000 worth of tools and stuff. The quote to move it, and we're gonna have to go, instead of landline phone, we'll have to go to cellular out there. The quote is $1,548.55. Have that done. They approved it.
I make a motion, we get it done.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion?
How much was that again?
$1,548.55.
What about the cell line? Does that include that, or would that be another?
It's gonna raise our bill up $33 more a month, but we also get to knock off $50 a month from the landline phone we had out there.
Okay.
So really, it's coming out cheaper.
Saving money
Saving money.
a little bit.
Now, we are gonna have to, when we get the new concession stand built, we are gonna have to have it, you know, some of it to go over there too, so we'll have to pay a little bit more to
Right.
install it over there also when it comes in and everything.
Any other concerns or questions? All right, take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And I had a meeting today with the new Christmas light committee, and they come up with some good ideas, and we're gonna start putting up the Christmas lights here in the next week. Start putting them up next week.
Thanks, sir.
That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Mr. Mike Brown, Community Center report.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
For the month of October, we didn't do as well as we did last month. We actually lost a little bit. Still holding pretty strong with our balance. One expense to note, which always sets us back, is we had 3 pay periods versus 2 last year. Everybody did, but that put us in a hole. Events, Baptist Health, they're going to be at the center on the 20th. instead of the end of the month because of Thanksgiving. Member of the month is, and I was hoping he'd be here, my neighbor, Mr. Dale Carter. Tomorrow, the Mammo van will be at the center, I think from 8 to 11, 8 to noon, and hopefully whoever comes, they call and got a reservation. Our basketball season starts this Saturday. We ended up with probably 86, 87 kids, which it's been a tough road getting kids to sign up, but that's pretty good ending up. My items that I need some approval on is to purchase a 60-inch Kubota mower from Heritage Agriculture for, with tax, is $14,854, and it's through a Sourcewell contract. This year alone, we've spent probably well over $10,000 getting the lawns manicured and the ex-soccer fields cut, and in the future, starting next year, we've got a lot of things that we need to get done. So that was one of the ways that I could think of that we can save money in the long run if we do our own lawn. I need advice on that.
Mike, that's a non-taxable item. We don't have to pay sales tax on that.
Good.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So Mike's proposing is to purchase a lawnmower so we can cut our overhead as we go over the next year or two. So I'll take a motion to entertain a lawnmower purchase through Sourcewell, as you guys got in your
I
package.
move that we purchase the 60-inch Kubota mower from Heritage Ag for the community center.
I second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on it?
Are y'all gonna handle the mulching and the
Yeah,
flowers and
we do a lot of
seasonal,
that.
all that?
I've got a guy, he's ready.
Richard.
Mr. Richard.
I just hope he stays ready for a long time.
He's a good.
Any other questions? All right, take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item that requires action is a pool deck. We tried acid washing it. We tried mats. We tried painting it, and they would last for a little while. But we found a product that is non-skid resistance, and it's got a guarantee that it won't come up with the chemicals that we use. We've got it in our locker rooms right now, and it's doing real well. So for $29,637, that's on the pool deck and in the bathroom and locker room floors. $15,562. That's a total of $60,053.34. And he's an approved Tips Taps vendor. It's similar to Sourcewell.
Mike, can you speak real quick to the swim meet request that we've had?
Oh, yeah, we got contacted, I think one day this week, about hosting the 4A swim state meet. And talked to my pool guy, and it's he said, you know, a lot of places, it's just an honor for them to even ask us. So this would go real well with, you know, if we can host it. The floor is awful now. I don't know if any of you seen it, but it's awful. So this would, we need it done, but this would look real well if we host it meet.
I think you said 8 or 9 teams off the top of your head.
Yeah. 8 to 9 teams.
Mike, you said 60? Where'd you come up with 60? I'm not coming up with that number.
That's, oh, I did.
So I got your mower in there too or
That
something?
includes the
Yeah,
mower.
it must be the more.
Okay.
I must have used my Newport calculator on that.
Say it doesn't compute. Take it.
I got 45,199.
That's it. 45,000.
And we had that budgeted too,
Right.
correct? I make a motion that we to get the, deck resurfaced and around the pool and in the restroom and locker rooms. For the, what'd you say, 45?
199.
There you go, for that amount.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any concerns or questions? Take it to a vote then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And we'll start that right away with the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Next on the agenda, Mr. Jim Kelly with Public Works.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
First off, monthly report. Pretty standard. On the water side, we did have an excessive amount of leaks. Those, water loss rate of 16.48%, which is still really good. I don't know if y'all seen, but plan on doing some work at the city shop around the perimeter. Attempt to make things a little more appealing out there.
Looks good. Be good.
We should have more progress within the month. I got 18 trees, something that we're gonna be putting in, and the slats that go in the fencing. Just kind of hide everything away. So that's something you'll be able to see here shortly. The only thing I have tonight that I need action taken on are lighting change out at the city shop, and there's another one in there for the animal control building. The lowest proposal was through Mr. Nicholson Electric, and all of these quotes are having energy rebate. What they're doing is giving you a rebate on the fixtures, and then, you know, that company or vendor gets reimbursed by energy, so we get the fixtures at a discounted cost. And Nicholson Electric was the lowest, and for the,
I don't see Nicholson.
A
well,
plus.
it's under the Energy Solutions one.
A plus.
Justice.
A plus.
No, not just the A plus.
We
Got
got Justice.
Justice Electric.
It looks like this. It's in this one, it's part of that first page.
Okay.
Okay.
Total project cost, that's their cost, that's the Nicholson number. You know, customer cost, if you read down,
Oh, okay.
down,
I got it
is our actual cost,
here.
and that's without tax. So, I would say on the city shop,
336212, is that it?
sir,
336212.
you know, the customer cost, about the fifth line down.
Cause they get the
That's the
incentives
Oh,
from this
okay.
project,
185072.
from this program.
And all the proposals are without tax, so I would say $2,100 were approved, that would cover the cost of the project for the city shop. And then the animal control, $1,241.15 before tax, and about $1,400 should cover the cost of that.
Make a motion to approve both of them. Can I do them together?
So it's about 3,500.
I think they need to be done separately, is that correct, Virginia?
They come out of different lines, right? Yeah, they come, so two different motions for two different
One for
purchases.
14, one for 21.
Yes, sir.
So I'll entertain a motion, to upgrade the LED lighting for the city shop.
I think Mike had the motion.
Well, it's gotta be done individually, so I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made to upgrade the city shop. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion items? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now I'll take a motion to entertain the lighting upgrade in the animal shelter.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, sir? Thanks, Jim.
You can see the annual savings and the projected payback underneath that summary on that same page as well. Anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
the streets department coming along, all the digging and water lines that moving us,
Sir?
all the projects we have going, is that moving along as scheduled?
Weather permitting, it's been pretty wet, so
I
it's
know we got
slowed
a
down.
lot of holes around town.
There are, and we've been, actually, I'm trying to address a bunch of them now. I got a patch getting ready to be done on Ketchum, which was been an open spot for a while.
Okay.
Supposed to go around this week and make a list for the contractors to go back and address those areas that we have concern with,
Right.
and just continue to stay on top of them. But I expect them to slow down considerably. We're getting to the cold season.
You know when they're gonna, I know when they're gonna finish the driveways for the houses that the driveways got knocked out?
They've done a portion of them. It depends on the material. Like yours, for instance, was concrete, and so they were going to go back and do it. When they order the materials for the driveway, they try to get a larger amount. So when they get it, they have a large amount of material, and then have to order these small loads. Right now, they're having trouble getting asphalt, and I didn't think they had enough concrete to quite come back and do yours. There's multiple other people too, so that's just kind of how they've been doing that.
For the record, the contract states that if they remove a material, they have to replace it with like material. So if they get rid of concrete, they've got to replace it with concrete, and vice versa with asphalt. And we also have a 12-month warranty. So as soon as the contractors have left town, we have 12 months to call them back into town and make sure that if they've done anything that's unsatisfactory, that they replace it. And we'll follow up with them and make sure that the road system is in as tact as possible over the next year.
Some customers have a different material in their driveway, but has been requested by the customer as well. So if you notice somebody that has asphalt where it once was concrete, the contractor has discussed that
With the homeowner?
Yeah, and they just gave their preference on those.
Good question. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Captain Stephen Holt with the Police Department.
The first page, you'll see we had 256 complaints, dispatch calls, had 208 911s, we served one felony warrant, for another department, actually it's ours, and, we actually made 12 new felony arrests. And, with immigration and, parole, we, made $7,740. The second page, you'll see the tickets by your ward. Except for, I need to ask for one thing, I need the heater at the department is 30 years old and needs to be replaced. I got 3 bids, the cheapest bid I got is through Danny Emily, and they're for $5,000.
His did not include tax, the way I read it, though.
His bill was 5,000, what he told me.
What's the,
Including tax, because if you look at Lonoke service,
Yeah.
theirs has tax added on.
The one, who, the service company was 7205, and then,
Including tax.
yeah, then Rodney Dobbins gave a bid of, 5,500 for his tax for his.
was this on Danny's proposal? There's a line under the 5,000 with the 2,100,
They gave me,
and I couldn't see exactly, I
that's
couldn't make
the-
that out. I see
that's-
something change out, but
No, that's he gave me a price, the 5,000 was for the heater plus the, 5-ton air conditioner. The 2,100 is just for the heater. The air conditioner is about 17 years old, like I say, the heater's 30.
So 7,100 total for that.
No,
with them.
5,000 total.
If they just did the heater, it's 21.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you're not doing the air.
and what brand was that? What brand was that?
Rude, Rudd.
Okay.
Look like a room.
Which way?
Rude.
Oh, really?
Are you satisfied with the lowest bid? Well, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to set the lowest bid, this is Danny Elmore.
Motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion on the purchase? Vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Captain? Thanks, sir.
Wasn't in our working session in October, wasn't this AC unit one of those that had like the stuff you can't use anymore starting next year, the refrigerant and
Right.
just saying this and what we just voted on for Jim, if we move forward on one of those energy saving things, those are likely things that they were gonna have us do
Take out
anyway,
and cover.
so.
We'll be discussing the ESCO contract next
Moving that
next
direction.
month. Yeah, that's already on the agenda. All right, next on the docket is Chief Wittenberg, Fire Department report.
Good evening.
Evening, sir.
Evening.
Got it, my report, and I'm sorry I didn't split it up this time, I hit the wrong button, and I didn't know I could get it. But on the back page, it does put them up, we had 18 EMS calls and 11 fire-related calls. So over 29 calls, we were out for 13 hours and 37 minutes, and average attendance of 4.28. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
All right, moving right along, third quarter budget report. Philip couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately. He wanted to, but had a chance to sit down with him, discuss the numbers, and we have spent slightly less than we anticipated. He said we're right on track, so we had nothing but good news to report for the budget this third quarter. Any questions? All right. I'll be glad to follow up with him if you do. All right, moving to old business, report on Dr. Holmes Building. You guys know last month we voted to advertise, put out for bid in the newspaper. And fortunately, we did get a response, but unfortunately, it was a day late. It was postmarked on the 6th, and the deadline was on the 5th. So we have an uneligible offer, and we're gonna have to reopen the process up for bid again, unless there's another option on the table. And if there's not, then I would entertain a motion to re-advertise.
I'll make that motion that we re-advertise it.
And I believe, okay, motion's made. Motion's made and seconded. 15 days minimum. It's a 15-day minimum advertisement.
When will that start?
Can we get that in this week? I don't know what their cycle is. Probably gonna be the beginning next week,
Yeah.
depending on when they accept.
Usually try to run it on a Sunday ad, cause it gets.
Started on Sunday.
We'll try to get that in this week, get it done as soon as possible. Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to new business. We got 3 ordinances in front of us. The first is ordinance 753, which addresses a change to the Unified Development Code. There's been a proposal to amend the approval process for construction in the Center Street Overlay District. Anybody have any questions about that ordinance? If not,
Mayor, I'll make a motion, put ordinance number 753 on the floor.
okay.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, put 753 on the floor.
Ordinance number 753, an ordinance amending the Lonoke Unified Development Code declaring an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas the Planning Commission of the City of Lonoke, Arkansas has pursuant to section 4.16 of the Lonoke Unified Development Code conducted a public hearing on October 21st, 2019 upon proposed amendments to the code text heretofore adopted by the City Council for the City of Lonoke. And whereas the Planning Commission for the City of Lonoke, Arkansas has, upon conclusion of the said public hearing, made a finding of fact that the amendments to the Unified Development Code text are consistent with the purposes of the code and the plans adopted by the said Planning Commission. And where upon the aforesaid findings of fact, the Planning Commission has recommended to the City Council the amendments to the Unified Development Code text. And whereas the City Council has reviewed the requested code changes, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council for the City of Lonoke, Arkansas, Section 1, amend Section 4.9.5 of the Unified Development Code to read as follows. 4.9.5, review procedure. Any development within the overlay district, except for the construction of a single-family home, shall be reviewed by the Planning Commission prior to the approval and issuance of a building permit according to the normal review process for building permits. During the review, the Planning Commission may reduce the requirements of the district as contained in section 4.9.4, site and development standards, upon written request by the applicant submitted with the request for Planning Commission review and issuance of a building permit. Reduction of the development standards for properties fronting Center Street shall be considered only in special cases where otherwise functional and marketable structures have lost their non-conforming status and where a strict application would result in a violation of the provisions of Arkansas Code Title 18, Chapter 15, Subchapter 17, entitled the Private Property Protection Act. In considering a request for the reduction of a development standards on properties within the district boundaries but not fronting on Center Street, the Planning Commission shall use the following as guides for making its decision. Following the review based on these guidelines, it may grant all or a portion of the applicant's request after weighing facts associated with the request. A request must not meet each guideline, but the review must determine a reasonable basis for Planning Commission approval. The guidelines are as follows. Number 1, following a reduction in the development standards, the remaining improvements to be undertaken will maintain the spirit and intent of the Center Street Overlay District. Number 2, on properties not fronting Center Street, a reduction of the regulations will prevent the demolition or partial demolition of a viable commercial structure that has lost its nonconforming status, and strict adherence to the Center Street Overlay District development standards would result in a loss of market value that would create a violation of the Private Property Protection Act. Number 3, limited visibility of the subject property from the Center Street corridor supports a reduction of the development standards of the Center Street Overlay District. Number 4, a reduction of the development standards will promote the productive development of a property with limited commercial potential. Number 5, a strict application of the Center Street Overlay District regulations would result in isolated improvements to a secondary street in an area deemed unlikely for further commercial development or where there are no plans for any improvements by the city. Number 6, strict application of the Center Street Overlay District regulations would likely make the structure functionally obsolete. Section 2, the regulation and preservation of property uses and values in accordance with the comprehensive plan and the continued utilization of lands within the city of Lonoke in accordance therewith being necessary for the preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare. An emergency is hereby declared, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the first reading.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. And to simplify what Ginger just said, basically, we're gonna add a clause to the Unified Development Code in section 4.9.4 that says an applicant can request a written variance to the Planning Commission. And there's 6 guidelines that she just read through that are gonna be adhered to by the Planning Commission to make that decision. Motion's been made, seconded. Any further discussion on it? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules, second, third reading, title only.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Ordinance number 753, an ordinance amending the Lonoke Unified Development Code, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to accept the second and third reading.
Motion's been made to accept the second and third reading, title only.
Motion to adopt.
We have, so we want to accept the reading first and then we'll adopt it.
Okay.
Okay, so Ephraim's made a motion to accept the second and third reading, title only. Do I need a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, I'll accept a motion to adopt ordinance 753.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion to accept the emergency clause.
Motion's been made to accept the emergency clause.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much. All right, moving on to the second ordinance, number 754. That's what we held the public meeting for, 15 minutes prior to city council. We had nobody show up to address a concern or have a comment. And that is an ordinance vacating the east half of the alley running east and west through block 16 Dismuke addition. So I'll take a motion to put it on the floor.
So move.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Second.
Ordinance number 754, an ordinance vacating the east half of alley running east and west through block 16 Dismuke's addition to the town of Lonoke, Arkansas. Whereas a petition was duly filed with the City Council of the City of Lonoke, Lonoke County, Arkansas on the 9th day of October 2019, praying the City Council close the east half of the alley as described in the original plat filed in the Circuit Clerk's office in and for the County of Lonoke, Arkansas. Whereas after due notice as required by law, the council has, at the time and place mentioned in the notice, heard all persons desiring to be heard on the questions and has ascertained that the alley running east and west through block 16 Dismuke's addition to the town of Lonoke has heretofore been dedicated to the public use as an alley, has not been actually used by the public as an alley for a period of at least 5 years subsequent to the filing of the petition, and that all of the owners of property abutting the alley have filed with the council their written consent to abandonment, and the public interest and welfare will not be affected by the closing of said alley. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lonoke, Arkansas, Section 1, the City of Lonoke, Arkansas hereby releases, vacates, and abandons all its rights, together with the rights of the public generally, in and to the east half of the alley, which runs east and west through block 16, Dismuke's addition to the town of Lonoke, Arkansas. Section 2, a copy of the ordinance duly certified by the city clerk shall be filed in the office of the recorder of the county and recorded in the deed records of said county. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be in force from and after its passage.
Motion to accept the first reading.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules for the second and third reading title only.
Second.
I need a motion first, sir.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh, sorry. Ordinance number 754, an ordinance vacating the east half of alley running east and west through block 16, Dismuke's addition to the town of Lonoke, Arkansas.
Motion to accept the second, third reading title only.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to accept the second and third reading title only. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And now we'll take a motion to adopt ordinance 754.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now, Ginger, it says in the end that it's gonna be, I don't know that we need the emergency clause. It does say pass on this day.
An emergency
effective
clause on that?
passage.
There isn't an emergency clause.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Right,
Yeah.
right, you're correct.
Just verify. All right, thank you very much. All right. All right, last ordinance of the night. Very proud of this one. A lot of folks have put a lot of hard work into this handbook. Big thanks to Miss Alice Bridges again for scrutinizing the grammar and the context and everything that's been put into it. And so we took our handbook and we've revised it for new labor laws and to reflect the community present day. So Ginger's actually put a lot of work into it as well. So thank you both for that. We passed out the handbook last city council. Before we get into this ordinance dance, is there any discussion items on it? What we did is printed off the changes that were made between last handout and tonight, what I'm asking to pass. And the only difference is instead of code enforcement department, we're gonna implement a community development department. And the streets department will now be underneath Public Works Director. So Mr. Jim Kelly will be in charge of streets, water, and sewer. Those are the only changes that have been made. And they're reflective in the handbook as you have them in front of you. All right, then.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to put ordinance number 755 on the floor.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to put 755 on the floor.
Ordinance number 755, an ordinance to adopt and codify a new comprehensive employee handbook for the City of Lonoke, Arkansas. Whereas on or about March 9th, 2015, the City Council of the City of Lonoke, Arkansas, the city, passed ordinance number 683, which adopted a comprehensive employee handbook, which it named City of Lonoke Employee Handbook. Whereas the City Council for the city has determined that some of the provisions of the City of Lonoke Employee Handbook needed to be revised and updated, and that it is necessary and beneficial to its citizens to adopt and codify a new employee handbook for the city of Lonoke, Arkansas. And whereas such a handbook has been prepared and presented to the city council for the city of Lonoke, Arkansas for review thereof. Whereas the city council for the city of Lonoke, Arkansas has reviewed said handbook and desires to adopt said handbook, a copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit A and is incorporated herein by reference, and the same shall hereinafter be the city of Lonoke employee handbook. Now therefore be it ordained by the city council for the city of Lonoke, Arkansas, number one, that the employee handbook attached hereto is Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference, and all provisions contained therein is hereby adopted by reference, and the same shall hereinafter be the city of Lonoke employee handbook. Number two, each section, subsection, requirement, regulation, or restriction established by this ordinance or any amendment hereto, including those contained in Exhibit A hereto or any subsequent amendments, is hereby declared to be independent, and the holding of any part to be unconstitutional, invalid, or ineffective for any cause shall not affect or render invalid this ordinance or amendments thereto as a whole or any part thereof, except the particular part declared to be invalid. Number three, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed.
May I make a motion to set the first reading?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion on the first reading? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I'll take a motion to suspend the rules of the second and third reading, title only.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Ordinance number 755, an ordinance to adopt and codify a new comprehensive employee handbook for the city of Lonoke, Arkansas.
Take a motion to accept the second and third reading, title only.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Take a motion to adopt ordinance 755.
Motion to adopt.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded, and just for the record, so you guys know, every employee, part-time and full-time, will receive a copy of the handbook, and before the end of next Friday, they'll have a deadline to come in and sign acceptance waiver, or acknowledgement of acceptance. Which has been made and seconded. Any further discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And I'll take a motion to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda, we've had a member of the tree board step down, and in their place, I'd like to appoint a new member, Ms. April Anderson. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept Ms. April Anderson on the tree board.
Move that we appoint April Anderson as the new member to the tree board.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion on it? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. All right. Next is a request to hire. So we've got the new handbook officially adopted, and part of that new structure is to hire, part of that plan is to hire a community development director. Our plan is to hire a salaried employee who's going to manage code enforcement, condemnations, and building permits. Currently, Regina's been managing that building permit process for us for a long time. We're going to hand that off to a community development director is my plan. And what I'd like to ask the city council to do tonight is go ahead and release a request for hire in the newspaper so that we can begin that position at the beginning of the year in January, pending approval of the 2022 budget.
Is that
Or, I'm sorry,
community
2020
development
budget.
person gonna be doing economic development type work also?
No.
Oh. Okay.
No, strictly going to be condemnations, code enforcement, and building inspection. So we're going to send them to the IBC school to get their residential and commercial inspection license. And then Jim Kelly will be a secondary inspector. This position will be a primary building inspector. So that's my ask.
It's been needed for a long time.
And to further add context to that, if you guys haven't seen, there's tape in the city hall here. We're getting ready to build up a wall in the main city office here, and that position is going to be where Regina currently resides. And we're building an office for Regina so she can have her deputy clerk duties behind, right there in front, but still enclosed off.
Make a motion that we allow that to be put out for hire for the community development director.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much. All right, last thing on the agenda. I believe this is just routine business, but we've had some revisions and additions to the Arkansas Municipal League health insurance policy. And we need a motion to approve the invoice.
Make a motion that we approve the changes of coverage both from the municipality league for the death and dismemberment policy.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion on it? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Take a motion to approve the bills.
What about Alice's trash can proposal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I sure did. I had it lined out, Coy. Thank you very much. Well, that's why you guys were looking at me funny. I couldn't think of, all right, sorry about that. Yeah, so a few weeks back, Miss Alice brought in what I think is a great idea. She wants to make an amendment to one of our ordinances, and I thought, well, that's great. Run with it, do the homework on it, present it to the city council. And I think next month she'll be in a position to do that, but tonight I'm just gonna give her the floor real quick to discuss exactly what your thoughts are on it and what you'd like the city council to consider over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Well, what I want you to think about, I've had some people in my ward complain about residents leaving their trash cans out indefinitely. They end up in the ditches, or some people set them out on the street and leave them there permanently. And at the present time, the only restrictions on doing that are for multi-family dwellings, apartment buildings. And they have a 24-hour window where they can put the trash cans out, and about 12 hours after trash pickup time, they need to be moved back. I think there should be an ordinance that would apply to everyone across the board, whether you live in a single-family dwelling, a duplex, an apartment, that you have X amount of time to have your trash can out, and then it needs to be moved back. Now, that would involve a distance. Should we just say out of the easement? That's in our current information. There is no restriction, no restricted area. So I just wanted y'all to think about that and give me some feedback. What should we stipulate as where it has to be moved? They can't just, move it 5 feet.
I
And
saw
then,
somebody today moving a can back in from last week, it filled up, take it back out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and in my ward, there's at least one person who has been the source of a lot of the complaints that just sets the trash cans there and brings the trash out to the street and leaves them there 24/7. And it's unsightly, it's unsanitary, and it needs to be addressed. But I would like you to think about it. In the current schedule, there is a fine, or the current information, there's a fine schedule, which it's like first violation's $400, and then it goes up 4, 8, 12. I think that would be unreasonable.
Well, that's also for a multifamily dwelling,
Right,
so
for
keep in mind, that's
multifamily.
not for residences.
No,
That's
but-
designed for apartment complexes.
Yeah. But that's the only information we have, so it's something we need to think about.
The only problem I would have usually is those families that goes to work early in the morning and gets off late in the evening. We can put that time gap within time reasonable for them to return home from work.
Sure.
So maybe 24 hours.
I guess another question I might have is for those that own rental property, is it the owner of the property or the person that's paying the water bill and paying for the garbage collection? Who's that fine gonna go to? And then also, is there gonna be any stipulation? I mean, I know like sometimes we may be going out of town and we'll put it out there. And, if I'm out of town for the week, if I drop it, leave it out there on Sunday night or Monday morning, and I'm not back for a week.
Maybe your neighbor will bring it in for you.
I would hope, but I don't know that everybody's got as generous neighbors as I do.
Right.
So.
I mean, there are things like that that are gonna happen, but I don't know what to tell you other than, ask somebody to bring it in for you, or, make the city aware that you're gonna be out of town.
Maybe the first time give them a warning.
Yeah. That's just things that, rather than a fine the first time, a warning.
It'd be good if we could get to a pickup where they
No, we're
furnish,
serious.
I think it'd be good if we get to a pickup in the future where they furnish the cans, and we were presented that a couple of years ago and it got
Canned.
voted down.
Couple things to think about then over the course of the next 3 to 4 weeks. If you guys can, I'd encourage you just to ask questions and engage with your constituents in your ward, see what their thoughts are. All right, are there any other announcements? Actually, that was the trash can proposal. Anything else you got, Ms. Alice?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I will take a motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, now, are there any announcements from the public?
I got one. Our puppies are missing since yesterday. So if anybody sees these dogs, they have tags on with their names, my phone number on it. I figure somebody probably has them. Apparently it must have stormed here. I was up at the hospital last night, but it must have stormed here yesterday afternoon and blew my double gate open. So they've been gone since yesterday.
So if you have a Facebook account, if you would go to Michael's page and
They're on
share,
there.
They're on there.
because we've all tried to do that.
You got a chip on?
They do have a chip, but it's only if they get taken into the vet would they know where they belong.
Pastor?
On the street I live on, Frank T. Bunn Street, right next to my house, a large, big tree, falling, keep falling and keep falling, limbs and everything. I heard y'all say y'all was gonna do something about it. I noticed limbs keep falling down.
Whose property is it? Is it I'm guessing it's your neighbors. I don't recall the.
It's the city's, cause it's right in the easement of the city.
Okay. Do me a favor.
I'm afraid somebody gonna get hurt, like a car coming through.
Yeah, well, if it's a safety issue, then we need to look at it for sure.
Somebody gonna get hurt, that's what I'm afraid of. Or somebody walk.
Child.
Can you bring us the address so that we can look into it?
Yeah, I can do that.
That'd be great. Anything else?
On Reynolds Street, there that one Hollow with a famous house there on the corner, all that trash has been out there for 6 months.
Where are you talking about, Jim?
On Reynolds Street. But there, the famous house that nobody knows who owns it?
Which one? I mean, not trying to be facetious.
What's the little greenhouse right past Whitaker's house. Right across from what's that church there?
What's that church over
Yeah,
there?
right across from Living Water.
Living Water.
They cleaned out the house and put it on the street, and it's been out there for 6 months.
All right. Do you remember the address?
300 block.
300 block on Reynolds? All right. I'll just take a quick second and say, on the record, I want to thank all the veterans in the town. I didn't really open the council up with that, but I do want to say thank you to all the veterans, past, present, and future, in Lonoke. And I hope you had a great holiday yesterday. So no more honorable holiday than I can think of than Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
With that, if there are no more announcements, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Anybody opposed? Thank you very much.
I got you.
Thank you.